Hey guys, it's time for an Unfortunate Throwback Thursday review. I say unfortunate because if you have not heard, Tyson Stevens, the lead singer formerly of Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, has passed away. He was only 29 years old, just turned 29 too, so it's really sad to hear. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, Tyson influenced my life in so many different ways, and Scary Kids, Scaring Kids was in my top 5 bands of all time, or they were my favorite. That's not the case, but at the same time I really did respect Tyson and the band and what they did, even if I didn't always agree with a lot of Tyson's personal decisions that got him into trouble in the past. It seemed like he had been doing so much better as of recent, but we'll have to see what the autopsy reveals. I wanted to go ahead and talk about their debut album, one of only 2 records, only 2 full lengths they put out. This one is called The City Sleeps in Flames. I figured I would go through, talk about it a little bit, just track by track, give you a little bit of info and insight onto what I'm thinking on this. Maybe this isn't my traditional review, but I definitely wanted to take time out of my schedule to kind of revisit some of their material and remember what Tyson brought to this world. He probably helped so many people over the years. I definitely connected with it at a young age of about 13 or so. So anyways, I'll start things off talking the title track. It kicks things off. It has this driving drum line and a few intense, heartfelt screams on this thing. It's made this one of the band's best songs for me. With time, it's held up so well. Love the line, "I'd give you everything if there was something left." It's been a line that's kind of been stuck in my head since I was 13 years old, on and off again. Every now and then it just kind of comes to me, and it's one of those things that I'll go like listen to that song. It's in like my throwback playlist, so I visit it from time to time. It's just a perfect example of how effective Tyson Stevens was as a vocalist, whether he was screaming or singing. The Only Medicine shows off some shimmering and hard guitars with a catchy riff and some talented screams from Tyson on this one. It's not like most screams that you're going to find in songs, mainly because his screams are used as passionate and effective tools here, something to add texture and just more life and emotion to a track, rather than just being there for the sake of, this is my genre, I'm in metalcore, I'm a post-hardcore band, I'm an emo band, and we're just gonna scream for the hell of it. It doesn't mean anything if it's not coming from a genuine heartfelt place, something that you're dealing with, and you can really feel it, not only on The Only Medicine, but really all throughout this record. The World as We Know It really starts to show off how the band can incorporate synthesizers into their music and actually make it work. You can really hear it in the background of not only this track, but really several songs on this album, and it gets to the point where it's more prominent in some parts of The World as We Know It, but we'll talk about it more here in a minute. What's Said Is Done is up next, and that one reminds me a lot of other bands in the scene at the time. I say emo. Whenever I say the word emo, I don't want you to think like makeup and all that stuff and cut my wrist and black my eyes. I'm not saying that. I'm saying emo as in emotionally in check music, something that is very much heartfelt and can tug at your own emotions. That's why I say emo, not just we dress in all black and, you know, we wear eyeliner and that sort of thing. That's not what emo music is or what it's all about. I have a hard time loving this track though, as much as I do many of the others on this record. What's Said Is Done just feels like it's similar to a lot of other scene songs at the time, and I'm not going to say that it's not an enjoyable tune. I do think that this album really demands to be heard as a whole because it's kind of got this connecting theme, something that's missing from so much of modern music. Just a Taste is a track that has this kind of soaring chorus to it, honestly. Packs a pretty solid punch, reminds me slightly of some of the stuff I've heard from the active band Pierce the Veil. That's cool because Pierce the Veil have said several times that they're definitely influenced by Scary Kids, Scaring Kids. One of the first bands that I think influenced them, and one of the first big bands to really take Pierce the Veil out on tour back when they were just starting up in like 05, 06. There's lines in that song like, "Can you smile now that I'm gone?" that not only have affected me over the years just because I really like that lyric, but it's kind of haunting now that Tyson's no longer in this world with us. Remember how I was talking about how you can hear that synth at some parts? You're definitely going to hear it big time in the intro of My Darkest Hour. It's not your sleazy club synthesizer if that's what you're thinking. If you've heard the track, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's an efficient instrument used to really just blend genres seamlessly. Definitely some hard guitars, driving drums, great bass line even on this track. I love the Postal Service-esque electronics in the first few seconds of the long-beloved song Drowning You in Fear. There's a slight rotation of screamed and clean vocals here on this one. making this just kind of a legendary track of the emo revolution that took place in the early to mid 2000s. The Bright Side of Suffering gets a little bit too cliched for me lyrically as I've grown older at least. I'm by no means saying that this is a bad track or one that I always skip or anything like that. The harsh screams at the end of this song are definitely enough making this track worth sticking around for me at least, and I have to say that I still rock out to it sometimes whenever I have this album in rotation. Drowning You in Fear bleeds into the next track, Empty Glasses, almost too damn well. Seriously, it's one of my favorite transitions of that day and age. Faith in the Knife is truly a long-lasting favorite for me personally. Lyrically, it deals with this man whose suffering has brought him to this place of mental torture, really. Contemplating suicide seems like the best option to him sometimes, and I think really the heartfelt impact that this track brings has just been felt by a ton of fans and a lot of people over the past decade. The album goes out on a rather introspective note with A Breath of Sunshine. Shouldn't I feel alive? Tyson questions throughout this nearly 6-minute slow-burning track that really just wraps things up and puts a nice kind of signed, sealed, and delivered, send it out to the masses type note. I know that I might have seemed a little bit down or not as active or lively in this review, but I really don't feel like I can be at this time. I mean, like, I'm not like I'm not gonna say that I'm in like a state of depression over Tyson Stevens passing, but it's always something that kind of sucks whenever the music scene takes a loss like this. We've lost several others in the past year or so, and yeah, it sucks for the music community, and that's all I can really say about it. For me, The City Sleeps in Flames is a 4.5 out of 5. If you'd like more information on my favorites, least favorites, more information on the album, if you'd like to hear it, link in the description down below. Let me know what you thought of this review and what you think about scary kids scaring kids, and what other throwbacks you'd like to see me do in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, hitting the like button, and subscribing to the channel. I will see you guys very soon right here on ARTV, Beyond the Reviews.